friend of mine wrote a novel, 2 sentences. The phenomenon of rebellion is as long-lived as human history and is an inseparable part of correcting unjust policies and the perverse directions of society. The moment the rebellion disappears, the human will disappear, end quote. You see, rebels are not civilized. The civilized person has been rendered dependent and stupid, perhaps due to what we have decided civilization is, and the process of creating the civilized, religion, a person capable of living within its narrowness, religion. I suggest it is impossible to live fully and honestly within its narrowness, religion. Live well, live high off the hog. Oh yes, there will be passages in the books to tell you why you deserve that. There are rewards for agreeing to this stunting, this slavery. But the process applied by culture, education, and temple to children who are born free of all that, and as the elders dote and lean over crib to goo-goo the new genius, the new them, they worry how we'll get the creature to move from crib to them. They worry and sometimes begin that very day the college fund, and again in some other houses the private preschool fund, because God forbid this young she is exposed to the world in which the rest of us actually live. What are they indoctrinated in behind those ivy walls? To believe what mommy and daddy believed to begin with. We have evidence. We have private school, pre-grade, middle, high, college, and graduate. You have to look for it, the evidence, and translate what you find into sentences and values you can understand, but you will not like very much, I'm afraid. The civilized world is created effortfully, more complex and overwhelming than any jungle. The creation was not overseen, and no one looks upon it and says, this is good work. No one said that it was good. They did better. They said, this is all there is. This is reality. This is how it works. You strive and compete into your mid-20s, then you buy a car. Life. You genuflect, tug forelock, while your viscera screams. No, that's not it. More? You want more? Well, yes, sir. And you know the story. Barack Obama said recently, don't ask for too much. That's rich from him. Are we not all at war right now? Brianna tells me Kamala will lose because the Muslims of Michigan won't vote for her, because Muslims are being murdered in Gaza, and she, Kamala, does not demur. She is civilized, knowing not that genocides are committed by moderates, because she's one. I'll not vote for her, and I'm a non-believer of any stripe. I'll not vote for her because humans are being murdered in Gaza, and she does not demur. Would I vote for Zelensky? Somebody asked me, who had a peace proposal that was liked and agreed upon, but Boris, ambassador of Joe, told him, no, 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 no. Do we all crawl still to the blondes of old empires, still pushing their weight? Perhaps there is an explanation. Perhaps the terms were contrary to testimony, unacceptable. Testimony more reliable than Blinken or Miller. So tell me the difference twixt any of you, except that you are resigned or even happy to send boys and girls to die, to leave them in their small rooms in large cities to be bombed because of their national pride, your national pride, and their religion, your religion too. Bollocks, I say to you. You see, Kamala, the soldiers demur. They know not what they're fighting for. Self-defense is your only defense. It makes no sense anymore, your war, only to be huddled, only to the huddled who huddle at the base of the statue of Lady Liberty, who must agree to never be, ever be free, to huddle for eternity. The only story for you and me is the immigrant, the grateful and adaptive, the forelock tugger, the eternal draftee. And Barack says, only expect a little. The problem is plain as the nose on any face. For a peaceful life, it appears we need a wide sense of compromise, and only adults can healthily compromise. I think that it is a fair plea, but there are several solutions possible, ways to get there, not just the one of obedience and the variations of obedience created maybe in some tellings by the agricultural revolution 12,000 years ago, which, by the way, was not considered immediately a positive move. It was for sure very good for landlords, though, for property owners. Pretty soon we had the model from which we have hardly strayed for those thousands of years, sanctioned by the religions, because landlords decide. And by dint of the labour allocation necessary, how brutal and unrewarding it was. It was a source of class and war, rebellion, and still is, since we developed from the model created by the agricultural divisions. We do have rich people, honey, who do nothing. We do. Thomas Jefferson did not grow his own tobacco. He couldn't. The revolution that never was had no merit in its meritocracy. There's a long and windy discussion to be had about all this. I might have covered some of it already, but one can be sure that our adjustments to this change in our ways of seeing ourselves and each other, and the religions that structured those adaptations, have really not worked very well, honey. Look at them. I think we can do better, that the reins of power are not just held by Croesus and Thomas Jefferson still, but that we have left them in place as Musks and Gates and played the games they set us. We did that. And they did not create the rules of the game benevolently. They're not that bright. But we have been told and have believed the only game in town requires them. When Themistocles presented the argument to young Athenians to go fight at Marathon, he made the civilized plea, perhaps for the first time. Do it for your city, your country, for your moms and dads. The boys still balked. What? They said. What is that? Then he said, do it for your personal glory resounding down through the centuries. And they said, okay, now you're talking. You'll say that motivator for fighting is uncivilized, etc. It is not. It is the opposite. The civilized motivator for fighting is that you go and kill somebody else's country and family. That is dishonest. In Themistocles' argument, the boy or girl can move beyond that process, can find this ladder to self in other trials, in other ways. The civilized story, though, is a dead end, trapping them, us, forever in obedience.